Bienvenidos! Welcome to another episode of Spain on a Fork. So it is a new year, 2022. I hope you all had a great holiday season and now you're ready to live the best year of your life. Anyways, with that being said, today we've got a great recipe to kick off the new year here on Spain on a Fork. We're talking a heartwarming pinto bean stew. This is known here in Spain as un potaje de alubias pinta. Now this is the kind of recipe that has all the elements of a great dish, as it's very easy to make, made with basic pantry staples, and it comes together in about 40 minutes, folks. Not only is this stew super delicious, but it's the kind of food you should be eating because it's very healthy for you and it's gonna make you feel great. Really quick before we begin, a shout out to one of my patrons, Jim Schallert. Once again, Jim, thank you so much for being a patron of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. All right, let's just dive right into this recipe. I'm gonna grab a stock pot, heat it with a medium heat, and add in 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, which is 30 milliliters. Now the vegetables I'm going to use to make this recipe are the most common vegetables that are used here in Spain when you're making a bean stew. However, you can use whatever vegetables you want or whatever you have on hand. After heating the olive oil for about 2 minutes, I'm going to add in 1 small onion that I roughly diced, 1 green bell pepper that I finely chopped, 1 carrot that's been peeled and thinly sliced, and 4 cloves of garlic that I roughly chopped. And we'll mix the vegetables around, that way they're all coated in that olive oil. And as you know, I always like to mix this continuously, that way the veggies don't brown too quickly and they all evenly saute. After about 4 minutes, and the onion is nice and translucent, and the rest of the vegetables lightly sauteed, I'm going to add in 1 tomato that I roughly chopped, 1 medium-sized potato that's been peeled and cut into small pieces that are 1/4 inch thick, which is a little over 1/2 centimeter, 1 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, which is 2.30 grams. This is known here in Spain as pimentón de la vera, and 1/2 teaspoon of ground cumin, which is 1.5 grams. Then we'll season everything with sea salt and a generous portion of freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll continue to mix this together and cook it for a couple more minutes. That way those tomatoes can really incorporate into the rest of the vegetables. After about 3 minutes and the tomatoes are well incorporated into the rest of the vegetables, I'm going to add in 2.5 cups of cooked pinto beans, which is 400 grams. The ones that I'm using come from a jar, which is the same thing as the canned ones, and I did add them into a sieve and rinse them under some cold running water before adding them into the pan. And I'm also going to add in 3 cups of vegetable broth, which is 710 milliliters. As always, the broth that I'm using is homemade. You'll find the recipe on how to make it in the iCard above and description box below. Then we'll turn up the heat from a medium heat to a high heat, and we'll give this a quick mix and bring it to a boil. Once the broth comes to a boil, I'm going to place a lid on the stock pot and lower the fire to a low-medium heat. And we're going to simmer this for about 20 minutes. This is enough time for all the flavors to fully develop and for those potatoes to be perfectly cooked through. After about 20 minutes, I'm going to remove the lid from the stock pot. And look how beautiful this turned out. And as you can see, a lot of that broth has been absorbed by the potatoes and the beans, giving us the perfect stew texture. And you know, you can always tell when your potatoes are perfectly cooked through. You spear some with a toothpick, and if it easily goes in, they are ready to go. For the final step, I'm going to add in 2 cups of fresh spinach that I roughly chopped. This is about 100 grams. And we'll mix the spinach around, that way it easily wilts. Now the spinach that I'm using is fresh bagged spinach. I love this stuff because it's inexpensive and pre-cleaned, but you can also use frozen spinach here. Once all the spinach is fully wilted, this dish is ready to go. I'm going to remove the stock pot from the heat, and we'll transfer some of the stew into a shallow bowl. Check it out, our heartwarming pinto bean stew is done. Once again, this is known here in Spain as un potaje de alubias pinta. Easy to make, beautiful presentation, and the aromas coming out of it are mind-blowing good. Let's give this a try and see how it turned out. Seriously, this is what great food is all about. Look how beautiful this turned out. Cannot wait to try this. Here we go. That is a plate of some good food right there. And as for the flavors, that sweet smoked Spanish paprika with the cumin, explosion of goodness, the rest of the vegetables with the pinto beans, an incredible balance of goodness. You saw this, easy to make, pantry staples, and like I told you at the beginning, the kind of dish that's gonna really warm your soul. It's heart healthy, the food you should be eating, as it's gonna make you feel like $1,000,000. Give this bean stew a try at home, you're gonna absolutely love it. If you enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and don't forget to share this video with your family and friends. That way our Spain on a Fork community can continue to grow. Till the next time, hasta luego.